got a question.
I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that are curious as to why Nintendo has stuck with cartridges and has stayed away from the CD-ROM technology.
Can somebody at Nintendo please give me the inside scoop?
Why cartridges, Ken?
Yeah, why cartridges, Ken?
We made the right choice. That would be my conclusion. I would tell you why. I'm sure most people have read and heard these arguments before. But the reality is, with a video game, you need the data fast. With a CD-ROM, you're basically playing your game from RAM. There are some exceptions where you can spool the data off the CD-ROM into RAM and then kind of play it in a very fixed sequence, because now your data is coming off almost like off of a long, skinny piece of tape, imagine. So I can't say I'm here and no, I want to be there, no, I want to be here, no there. With a cartridge, you're doing kind of the same thing. When I start my level, all the data comes from the cartridge and goes into RAM, and I'm playing from RAM. The difference is, as I'm playing, let's say I go around a corner in Diddy Kong Racing, and there's going to be the big, giant dinosaur. He's not sitting in RAM until I get near that place on the track, and we go, oh, we need the big, giant dinosaur, and they go grab him off the cartridge, and they stick him in to RAM, and then they display it on the screen, and then, you know, you go around the corner, he's gone, we don't need him anymore, we need the big flamey volcano. Go get it off cartridge, stick it into RAM, display it on the screen. All this is happening completely transparent. Gee, I put it in, turn it on, I'm playing in 3 seconds. That's a huge benefit. But the reality is that's not the reason why we go with cartridge. It's because of DMA, which is direct memory addressing, which means you can go to the ROM while you're playing a level. That makes our games what they are. We have 4 megabytes of RAM in the Nintendo 64 right now. Let's just say, for example, that instead of a cartridge, we had a CD-ROM. You could not play any of the games that have been released. Cartridges are growing dramatically. As what has been announced recently, you know, Legend of Zelda is going to be on a 32 megabyte cartridge. That would be 4 times the size of Mario 64, and it would be about 64 times the size of Super Mario World, I believe. And this isn't stopping. You know, ROM is going to continue to grow and grow and grow, and there will be ROMs that are the size of CD-ROMs today within 5 years. I think if you look at what's Nintendo's philosophy, right? It's not what can we make cheaper, which is the only reason to go to CD-ROM. If you look at every argument, there's always something you can say, why would you not go with CD-ROM? It's so cheap.
Yeah, all that stuff is great, but what about the 64DD?
Well, the other reason to go away from ROM alone is the writability aspect of the 64DD.
What is that thing?
Okay, Kenny, the Nintendo 64 disk drive, Nintendo's next generation add-on device. Adds an additional 4 megabytes of RAM to the N64. Disk will store up to 64 megabytes of game info, read-write capabilities, internet connectivity for future game upgrades.
If you look at what's happened with video games over the years, they grow in the sense of story and the sense of interactivity, of how a character can interact with his environment. GoldenEye, I can shoot all these bullet holes. But what if I had a game that was 10 times bigger than GoldenEye, and I could knock down walls, or cut down trees, or flood areas, or blow things up, and they would stay that way forever on my disc, because I did them, they always stay that way. And you're never going to do that on CD-ROM or DVD, and you're not going to do it on ROM alone. It's not just ooh, I can save a really big save file, you know. Yeah. It means I can save a lot of details about what's going on in the game. And in some games, yeah, it just might be I can save every stat that you've ever imagined in a sports game, you know, or something simple like in GoldenEye, I could save every bullet hole. But, you know, you get to the point where you start realizing, you know, I can have dramatic effect on the environment. Let's say I've had a game for a year. You know, I'm done, and I haven't played it in a long time. And I go back, and it's like, whoa, there's trees growing where I cut down this field or something. You know, how can that be? I haven't even turned the game on for a year. Well, they can go check the clock that's in the 64DD and say, he hasn't turned the game on for a while. We need to update what's going to happen because 10 months have passed.
Wait, Jerry.
Ouch!
EP. It's a full contact show.